They say just looking at water calms your mind. I wonder if coloring water has the same effect. Welcome to Seeds in Starlight Studio, where we grow our glimmers through making. Let's see where the studio takes us. Before I even touched the actual coloring book page, I sat down with a practice book. It's this really cool one by Willow Lake Studio, and it's got different techniques for different types of textures. The first thing I worked on was some shrubbery, and I decided to try this out because it seemed a little less intimidating than the water at this point, and there were some cool little shrubbery features on the coloring book page. To me, when you're looking at a coloring book page that you haven't put any color down yet, that might as well be a blank sketchbook page. Let me know if you feel the same way. A blank page, as I'm sure a lot of us know, can be terrifying. So I decided to practice some of these techniques on somewhere that was a little more low stakes before I put anything on the actual coloring book page. And you know what? That's allowed. I think practice might be one of the most underrated permission slips there is. So here's me giving you permission to practice before you do the final piece. This is a very cute coloring book by Creative Paula called It's the Little Things. Creative Paula does have a YouTube channel. I really enjoy her videos on different ways you can fill a sketchbook. She also does a lot of coloring techniques. She is what inspired today's video. So now we get into the water. And of course, same thing, I want to practice first. And this one I practiced in the book, and then I also took it outside the book because I wasn't totally satisfied with where my skills were at yet. I actually took it and did a couple of random squares in one of my sketchbooks. And that really helped me figure out what technique worked for me and what technique I thought looked the best for how I wanted the water to look. Never be afraid to practice before you work on the final thing. And I know it's just a coloring book, but believe me, I get it. You don't want to be flipping through your coloring book and then suddenly come across that page, you know? I got through the blues pretty quickly, and I really like the texture that the alcohol marker gave. Some people might call this texture a mistake because it didn't blend correctly or it should have smoothed out, but I actually think it really enhances the feel of it being water. So I think it's good to go with that. Sometimes if you make a mistake, it ends up being a happy accident, you know? Somewhere in the middle of doing all of the white gel pen parts, I started to get a little annoyed. It was a very repetitive task, and I enjoyed it, but I don't do good with doing the same thing over and over for too long of a time without taking a break, so I actually walked away for a little bit because I know myself and I wanted to make sure that I didn't ruin the whole experience of this coloring book because I do truly enjoy coloring and I wanted to have a nice page. So I put it down and I worked on something else for a while. Went and talked to my husband, watched a show, just did stuff that I enjoyed. Because there wasn't a deadline, and I don't feel any guilt, nor should you, about having to walk away for a little bit. And when I was ready to come back, I did. It was still there, and I was able to get through the rest of it. But guess what? You're allowed to do that. You don't have to color everything in one go. Now I finally get to the very cute capybaras. Capybara? Capybaras? What's the plural of that? Either way, 2 capybaras floating down a river. I always have a little chuckle when I hear floating down a river because my grandpa would, if he drank something late at night, he would always say, I hope I don't float down the river tonight. Because, as you get older, you sometimes have to get up and go to the bathroom more, and hearing floating down the river just gives me a little chuckle because of that. Anyways, we've got 2 capybaras floating down a lazy river, and you know what? Something kind of bugs me about calling it a lazy river. Because nothing about a river is lazy, and nothing about stepping away from your art practice for a break, to move on to something else, to adjust, to change course, none of that is lazy. So somewhere in there, I stopped calling it a lazy river, and I'm just going to call it a slow-moving one. And I think we need to stop calling ourselves lazy too, for that exact reason. A slow-moving river is still getting to where it needs to go. It's just going at a different pace, and that is just fine. I'm still so early in all of this. I'm still learning how to edit, still learning how to talk into the microphone without needing to edit out 30 minutes of dead air. Still very much a beginner. And for a long time, I thought this would be an awesome creative outlet for myself, and for a long time, I was too scared to even start. But here's the thing. If you've never really been in water before, you probably don't start in the raging rapids, you start in the slow-moving river. So that's what I've been doing, metaphorically. Going slow through it, giving myself grace to be bad at something before I'm good at it. And it turns out, surprisingly, that I'm actually starting to have fun with it now, even though I'm definitely still stumbling my way through all of this. Slow is not quitting. Slow is just how you actually get to where you're going sometimes. I hope you found a glimmer today. If you did, I'd love to hear about it. See you later.